homeschooler here, and today I want to talk about books. Do you know what your child is reading? And no, I don't just mean the title of the book. I mean, do you know what's actually in the books that your child is independently reading? Now, if you're like most parents, you have no idea. And mom, if you're watching this, you had no idea the stuff that I read, even in elementary school. Now, this stuff only gets worse as you get into high school type of readers. But as a parent, as a former educator, and now as a homeschool mom, I highly encourage you to not only research, but to pre-screen the books that your child is actually reading. And does that mean that you have to read the book? Sometimes, yeah. Now, I'm going to give you today 4 reasons why it is very important to know exactly what your child is reading. First of all, you know and control the books and the content that your child will be reading and putting into their brains. Your child, even in elementary school and even through high school, their brains are still developing, and the things that they are reading will affect their development. And yes, that means every type of book, from textbooks all the way to just regular readers. If you have no idea what is in these books, I will be the first one to tell you, as a former teacher and as a book lover, since I was little, there are things that would make every parent flip out if they knew what was actually in these books. If my mother knew how much her little bookworm was actually reading and the things that I was reading at such a young age, she never would have let me step foot in a library ever again, ever. Sorry, Mom. And although I was a really good kid, I didn't tell her that stuff. And I imagine that most of you, especially with your teenage selves, wouldn't have either. I never would have dreamed to tell my mom the kind of smut that was in young adult books at my school library, at the public library, and was approved by the school board for my young, growing, developing brain. And parents, especially homeschool parents, we have control. You as a parent have control. Now, so what does that mean? That means we need to be looking at these books. We need to be opening these books. Just because the library has them on the shelf does not mean that it is a good book for your child. And every family is different. So what one family thinks is appropriate is not going to be what another family thinks is appropriate. So when my friends tell me, hey, this is a great book, I am always going to pre-screen that book before I give it to my kid. Now, number 2, and this is the biggest reason why I pre-screen the content. Mature content. Yes, there is mature content even in some of the elementary readers I have picked up from my kids. And now I have found that it is only getting worse as society progresses. Now, if you homeschool, most likely you are somewhat aware of this. And it's probably one of the reasons why you may have pulled your kids out of school, like me. It's because a lot of the school systems now, the things that they think that are appropriate for our children, a lot of times are not what parents like me, or maybe like you, would deem appropriate. I don't think that a lot of things that are in public schools today are appropriate for some of these young developing minds. And I want to be in control of that. So the mature content is one of those things that, yes, they're in a lot of books. And my child, my oldest, is going into 7th grade. And I have found that a lot of books on his book lists, especially in the secular realm or in the public school realm, are not things that I would find appropriate for my child. And you, as a mom or as a dad, if you knew some of the things that were in these books, it would make you blush. It's not things that I think that my middle schooler needs to be reading or really even knowing about yet. And yes, a lot of it is some of the things that you think that it is. And I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but you can probably guess. Yes, those are in those books. I knew way too much, way too young. Now, 3rd, spiritual and unbiblical content. If you are a Christian homeschool parent like I am, you will come to find that a lot of these books, even if they're Christian books, they're really unbiblical in the way that they go about it. So we as parents and as Christians need to be watchful, we need to be careful, and we need to explain these issues from whatever worldview that we are coming from. Because you may not be a Christian homeschool parent, you may just be a regular homeschool parent who is wanting to be more watchful and more careful of your child's content. I totally get that, I do. So if you want to know about that stuff, then you need to know what's in those books. And the fourth reason appeals to my teacher side. The fourth reason why it's important to pre-screen your books is because you need to be able to check your child's comprehension level. My oldest has a habit when he's not engaged in a book to speed read. There's no other way to put it. He will gloss over those pages and he won't remember a thing when the book is over. So the best way to actually check your child's comprehension level is not only to know the content and know what the story is about, but to be able to know enough to ask engaging questions. Check their comprehension level, because they're just going to tell you what they think you want to hear sometimes. You're a parent and a teacher, and trust me, if you don't know what's in those books, they could tell you anything under the sun, and as long as it sounds like what's on the back of the book, you're going to think that they read it. Now, why am I going into all this? Well, as I said before, I am a very avid reader. I love reading. I have been a huge reader since I was little. My mom taught me how to read when I was very young, and ever since then, you can always find me with a book in my hand or a book in my bag, or there's books everywhere all over this house. So I am announcing that I'm going to be giving out book reviews on YouTube. And those are going to be everything from the young readers that my second grader is reading all the way up to probably high school type books. I'm going to be explaining the content that is in the books, just so you are aware of it, so you can make an informed decision on whether or not that book is a good fit for your family and for your child. Now, I have found that one of my biggest problems in homeschooling was the readers. Now, that doesn't mean to say that I thought every book list was awful. It's not that. But I did find that a lot of the books on the book list were things that my child either found inappropriate in the book, I found inappropriate in the book, or just things that I was very surprised that was in newer books for even the public school lists. So I'm going to be showing you some of the books that we're going to be reading, some of the ones that I have already pre-screened, and I'm going to explain the content that is in them for you, homeschool family. So if there is a book that you are wondering about and you haven't read it and you don't have time to read it, drop it down below in the comments and I will start putting together a book list. I have several books already lined up and ready to go, and I can't wait to start discussing them with you guys. Tell me some of the content that would be something that you as a parent would not want your child to read. Tell me what are the things that you are concerned about and the things that you want me to alert you about if I come across it in a book. Let me know down below and I will start putting together my list, and I already have a list of books ready to go for you to make new videos, and I cannot wait to start. So I will see you guys in my next video, and make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel to get all the great updates on homeschooling. And if you are a work-at-home parent like I am and you have a home business, I also have a free resource down below for you from my personal business coach who helped me make my business successful and thriving. So I will see you guys next time, and have a great week.